My son is a Navy veteran. He participated in the first Persian Gulf conflict, went into the Navy right out of high school in '84, served an additional 4 years in the reserves. It was during that time of his service in the Navy that I believe the first symptoms of his schizophrenia were revealed. And once he was actually home, back home in the Portland community, I saw behavior, other family members, community people saw behavior that we named erratic and didn't have another name for. So it required a lot of hard work, educating ourselves as family members, and trying to get my son to treatment, to the proper help. Our first stop, one of our first stops, was the Veterans Administration, the VA, and the diagnosis there was angry black male. I mean, someone actually spoke that and wrote it down, angry black male, and that let me know that we had, and my son had, a hard journey in front of him in terms of getting the proper treatment. So, there were years of hospitalizations, years of his being on the street, years of his disappearing or not knowing where he was. For a period of time, he lived with me, and during the time that he lived with me, I became really aware that he was, hearing voices. And there was a point when he thought that there were voices coming through the heat vents. And so he would plug the vents so that the voices wouldn't come through. There were times when he would put huge signs, huge notices out on the outside of our home or on the door, with warnings of who couldn't come in, or if you do come in, something will happen to you. So again, there was this behavior that we could only describe as erratic, but signs that he was very sick, very sick. A part of our journey was trying to find professional help from a culturally sensitive provider, therapist, and providers. Couldn't find them. And I've already told you about the VA experience. So, he's in and out of hospitals for over several years. And then our fear is that he's going to have an encounter with the police, because he's also expressing his own fear of the police. And there had been several shootings of African American males in our community, not necessarily people who were living with mental illness, but there had been enough shootings to make a sane black person, and a sane black male particularly, feel scared to be just walking down the streets of the city of Portland. So the fear of an encounter actually played out, and it played out in front of my father's home. My son had a psychotic break. He had a gun. He had a pellet gun in a bag. I had been in touch with the police over a period of time, just saying, he's out there. You know who he is. He we want you to be on the lookout for him, but don't kill him. Please don't kill him. And you know, if you see him, try to get him to help. And that had been my plea to the then commander, police commander at the Northeast Precinct. It was Derek Foxworth, who later became chief of police. And on this particular occasion, the day of the encounter, Foxworth was in command. And when they got the call about my son being outdoors, erratic, Foxworth led the team that arrived at the scene, and he ordered beanbag rounds, that beanbag rounds be shot. And 2 of those rounds got my son in his wrist. And there was another officer who arrived at the scene who fired live rounds, and all 5 of those shots just missed my son. And as I was arriving on the scene, after getting the call, what I saw was them lifting my son off someone's lawn, the neighbor's lawn, and putting him on a stretcher. And so as I'm coming up the street, I'm thinking that he's dead until I actually get there. And Foxworth grabs me and says, he's okay, he's alive, you know. And then Foxworth went on to say how sorry he was that the live rounds had been fired. He was telling me first, he wanted me to hear first from him that had happened.